Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really powerful tool for teachers, the Inclusive Classroom Framework. It's this structured way of thinking that can help every single student succeed. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay, so let's get right to it. If you're a teacher, you know this feeling, right? You look at your classroom and it's just this incredible mix of students. Different skills, different backgrounds, different needs. And your job? Your job is to help every one of them hit their full potential. And let's be real, that is a huge task. So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? How do we build a classroom where every single student truly thrives? And we're not just talking about classroom management here. We're talking about creating a space where kids can really flourish, no matter where they're starting from. And having a roadmap, a structure for that, well, that's absolutely essential. But before we get into the how-to, let's talk about the why. Why does this stuff matter so much? Well, the data behind inclusive classrooms is, well, it's pretty powerful. The numbers really do tell the story here. So get this. A 2023 study found that students with disabilities who are in these inclusive settings, they scored an average of 24 points higher in reading. That's not a small bump, that's a huge deal. And it's not just reading. Look at the math scores, an 18-point jump for the same group of students. We're not talking about tiny little improvements here. This is a massive leap forward in what these kids are achieving. And the benefits just keep stacking up. The Atlanta Institute found back in 2016 that included students develop stronger skills in reading and math, sure, but they also have higher attendance rates and are less likely to have behavioral problems. It's like it creates this positive feedback loop for everyone. Okay. And this is a really important point. We need to bust a myth here. There's this worry that inclusion might somehow hold back students without disabilities, but the research, it just doesn't back that up. It actually shows positive or, at worst, neutral effects. So creating an inclusive classroom doesn't lower the bar for anyone. It actually lifts the whole room. All right, so we've seen the why. The benefits are crystal clear. So now you're probably thinking, okay, great, but how? How do we actually organize our efforts to build this kind of classroom in a way that's, not completely overwhelming? And that right there is where the Inclusive Classroom Framework comes into play. It was developed by Chris Perry over at Cultivate Education, and it's designed to give teachers a really clear, super practical roadmap. So here it is. This visual really lays it all out, doesn't it? The key thing to see here is that it's not just a random checklist. These are 5 progressive domains. They build on each other, kind of like a pyramid or a staircase. You have to get the bottom layer right before you can move up. It all starts with a solid foundation. All right, so let's do a quick tour of these 5 domains. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, step 1, the foundation. And seriously, everything else rests on this. It's all about making the classroom a place that feels fundamentally safe for every single student in there. And when we say safe, we mean it in every sense of the word. It's about being secure, orderly, and calm. Yeah, that means physically safe from accidents, of course. But just as important, it means being psychologically safe, free from bullying, free from that feeling of fear. Okay, so once you've got that foundation of safety locked in, we can build the next layer. And that is making the classroom predictable. So what does that mean? It means things are clear, coordinated, and consistent. Think about it. When kids know the routines, when they know what to expect, they don't have to waste all that mental energy trying to figure out what's going on. They can just focus on learning. It's a game changer. All right, so we're safe, we're predictable. Now we can really start to build a genuine culture of care. This is where the human connection part really kicks in. A caring classroom isn't just about being nice. It's about being amicable, kind, and welcoming on purpose. It's about systematically building those relationships that create trust and make every single kid feel like they truly belong there. And once you have that trust, that sense of belonging, now you can create a learning environment that is truly supportive. And this is all about being responsive to what your students actually need. A supportive classroom isn't rigid. It's flexible, it's engaging, it's active. It has structures that can actually bend and adapt to the different strengths and needs of all your students. It's about meeting them where they are and getting them involved. And that brings us to the very top of the pyramid, the final domain. And this is really the goal of all education, right? To be ambitious. This is where the magic happens. An ambitious classroom pushes for mastery. It's challenging, but in a good way. It's a place that actually encourages kids to take risks, to reflect on their own learning, and to really stretch themselves to reach their absolute full potential. Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got these 5 building blocks. What does this actually mean for you in your classroom on a Tuesday morning? This table here is such a great way to think about it. It turns the whole framework into a set of questions you can ask yourself about your own practice. It's like a self-check. Start at the bottom. Are my students safe? Is my classroom predictable? And you just work your way up. It's a fantastic tool. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Every single student requires and deserves to have their basic needs met, to be seen, to be heard, and to be pushed to achieve amazing things. So as you look at this whole framework, from that base of safety all the way up to ambition, here's the real takeaway question for you. What's one small thing you can do this week, just one step, to strengthen the foundation of your inclusive classroom?